How would you like to be a fan of a Major League Baseball team whose season is already over before it started?
That's so rude.
Because that surely feels like the way of the Los Angeles Angels. Mike Trout trying to save as much face as he can today in talking about the Angels and their future as spring training is now open and Shohei Ohtani is no longer there. In fact, Trout even joked when all the reporters were waiting for him, saying, well, Ohtani must be gone. And that is the case, and that is the reality of the Angels. But here we are. We start another season where not much is expected from the Angels. In fact, two of the best teams in baseball, including the defending World Series champions, are in the same division that the Angels are in. And yet you have Mike Trout, one of Major League Baseball's biggest stars, basically sitting in a spot where even the playoffs seem like a long shot. But Mike Trout today saying the easy way out is to ask for a trade. He says he wants to win a championship with the Angels.
How do you hate him saying that? I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying, how can anyone not be a fan of this guy, of these comments? I was one of those people that I was like, no, the Patriots should not fire Bill Belichick. I feel like loyalty is dead in sports and maybe just in life, and I hate it so much. So hearing him say this was a breath of fresh air, and it's just something you don't really see. The Dodgers just re-signed Kershaw to a 17th season, a one-year deal. Yes, Kershaw should not play on any other team. Even if you don't think he can deliver the way he has in the past, he needs to be a Dodger for life. Mike Trout is going to be an Angel for life. He should be. And it sucks because he's part of an organization that it's very evident that they don't care as much as other organizations. We've seen it. So it sucks that that's what he's a part of. But like he said, I signed the deal. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to win. It's so refreshing to hear. I don't know how you don't want to hear that from a star like Mike Trout.
Isn't it different, though? Like, it's easy for Clayton Kershaw because...
Right, so give even more credit to Mike Trout. But yes I agree.
Yes.
Yeah,
like the Dodgers are thought to be one of the contenders and one of the favorites for the World Series.
Yeah, and I think with like what you, a point with that is obviously the loyalty is two ways when it comes from the Dodgers and Kershaw. With Mike Trout, the loyalty is strictly on him because he could leave and somebody would snatch him up right away. So he's the one that is loyal to an organization that has not been the greatest to him. So more power to Mike Trout for doing that and for saying that in the season where his co-star was sent off to the Dodgers.
I'm not saying that I don't believe Mike Trout because I actually do believe Mike Trout, but I also think Mike Trout is in a tough spot, and it's hard to say that for someone who signed a $360 million deal. It's very tough for anybody to really say, all right, tough times for Mike Trout. This is the part, though, that I don't think that Mike Trout is being fully sincere in saying. It's when he says, I want to win a championship here. Because let's be honest, they are miles and miles away from being a championship. You don't get to be a better team when you lose a generational player, a unicorn of a player in Shohei Ohtani, and get nothing in return for him. That's a completely separate story, but it also tells you of where the organization is for the Angels. And Trout said stuff today of, trying to, recruit people, tell them to come over. And in the Angels' defense, they've had some players, and some of those players have not worked out. And there's a longer list, in the most recent being Anthony Rendon. And I know Isaac has some of his comments, and I'll probably have Isaac, rehash those for us in just a little bit of what Anthony Rendon said today. But this is the part with Trout where they just need to be competitive. They just need to not fall off the face of the earth in June, when half the season is done. Just make a wild card like that. That's or be in it until the end. And I know it would be disappointing if you don't make the playoffs, but by no means is this team anywhere near competing with the Rangers, with the Astros, with the Tampa Bay Rays, with any of those squads. They're just not. And that's the tough part about it is you can only say so much. But him, when he says that I want to win a championship here, every player wants to win a championship with the team that they're on right now. But the reality is the Angels could be the furthest from winning a championship than maybe any of the other 29 teams in baseball.
And that's probably what he meant when he said, I want to win a championship here. He probably just meant, I want a playoff game. I just want to get into the postseason. That's really what I want. But he can't say that. He can't just say, you know what I mean?
It's a cliche in a way that you're not saying a cliche.
Right. Exactly. He had to say it that way. But it's just, you feel for the guy. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I wish more people were like you. I'm not going to lie. I wish Damian Lillard was still in Portland. That's a perfect example. Because Portland was not doing much for him, you know? But we just don't see this anymore. And I hate it, to be honest with you. We don't see these teams have a player for their life, for a star player staying with the team for this long. We don't see that anymore. And to start this season and to say that, I cannot give him more credit for doing it.
There's also the uncharted territory, or the territory that very few can navigate, in where Trout is as a baseball player, which again, because there are just very few Mike Trouts out there.
Right.
And very few people whose legacy is determined by winning championships in Major League Baseball. It's funny, we talk so much about it with the NBA and LeBron James, and comparing him to Jordan and others as well. And in the NFL, it's about quarterbacks and what quarterbacks have won with championships. But in Major League Baseball, like there's just very, very few players that you say, well, they never won a championship, because it's just, there's so many different things that go into it: pitching, hitting, where you play, how you play. There's just so much that comes with it. But the lack of success that Trout has had with the Angels makes him even more a candidate to be one of those guys. And again, it's not that Mike Trout needs a championship ring to validate his career. That's not it. There's just very few Major League Baseball players that you would point out, oh, and they won a world championship. Truly, like Mookie Betts is not in that conversation. For as great as Mookie Betts is, we're not going to sit there and count Mookie Betts' rings throughout the year. I don't even know if we really do that in Major League Baseball.
We don't.
And so with Mike Trout and where he is, he just needs to have moderate success, and it would help his legacy.
Yeah, because baseball is the one team sport that is really about individual performances. That's how you win. Even if you are great, you need other individual performances, from hitting, from pitching, from fielding. It is a team sport, but it's very individual. So that is why you're right. If he just has a little bit more success to end his career, nobody would say, but he didn't win. Because all of that negativity goes to the Angels organization, because we've seen it year after year that they have not put in the work that we see other teams do to develop around a star like Mike Trout, who is not a unicorn, but in a way he is. You know what I'm saying? 3-time MVP. Like, there's 10, I think, players in the history of baseball with 3 or more MVPs. I might be off. But, it's a very rare feat that he has done. So, yeah, it's really all the negativity to me goes to the Angels.
If they were to sign Cody Bellinger tomorrow.
Oh, that would be interesting.
But would it? Truly, you just lost Ohtani. You literally, and that's the point of it. That's why I think that they're so far away, because Mike Trout can try to convince Artie Moreno to sign these guys. And this is not meant to turn into angel talk, because I think it's a bigger picture of one of the baseball greats being in a baseball wasteland right now. But it doesn't change so much. And so I think at some point Trout probably will have to change his tune, because I just think that they are so far away from doing anything significant or worthwhile in baseball. And so while I admire his dedication on the opening day of spring training, I do question that's how he really feels.
I believe him. I think he had plenty of opportunity to dip out if he really wanted to. And my reaction to Cody Bellinger, you're right. Because in baseball, I don't think one person moves the needle enough on a baseball team. Even Shohei Ohtani going to the Dodgers, I said that. I was like, I don't know if he moves the needle like that. I think that's
losses, right? That's it. Yeah.
Exactly. To one player is going to make you a championship team. It just doesn't work like that in baseball, I think. But I do think if they were to sign somebody like a Cody Bellinger, Bellinger has done better since he's left the Dodgers, kind of revitalized his career, and he is kind of like a quote-unquote household name where it would bring more eyes to the Angels. Not the same type of attention as Shohei, of course not, no. But I think it would be beneficial for the Angels to sign a Cody Bellinger, 100%. It would do more good than nothing.
Let's let Mike Trout have the last word in all of this.
I think the biggest thing right now is I think the easy way out is just ask for a trade. There might be a time, maybe. I really haven't thought about this, but when I signed that contract, I'm loyal. I want to win a championship here. The overall picture of winning a championship or getting to the playoffs here is bigger satisfaction bailing out and just taking the easy way out. So I think that's been my mindset. Maybe down the road if something's changed, but that's been my mindset ever since the trade speculations came up.
Do you think that comment of taking the easy way out was a dig at Shohei Ohtani?
Not that you mentioned.
He LeBron'd it there.
It didn't dawn
He
on me.
LeBron'd it there at the end. Things can change. My opinion could change if things change. He's giving himself an out.
Yeah, that's
Of course.
That's why I think this is first day of spring training comments. This is that's why you say I want to win a championship here. Well, so does every other player in Major League Baseball, but it's not going to happen. It's not realistic.
Yeah, I don't think the guys on the Royals are saying we don't want to win a championship.
It's not. I mean,
But
that's the
Mike Trout
reality
is a
of it.
different level. He's a different caliber player. So him saying it is different than a player from the Royals saying it. You know what I mean? I get what your sentiment overall, 100%. But I do believe him. I just think he could have left a while ago, and somebody would have picked him up.
I think there was I think that there was a lot of cap, with a lot of hat. I'm not calling him lies. What are you going to say on the first day of spring training? But to Bo's point, I think that you leave the door open at the end of, at some point you want to play meaningful baseball in August and September, and they just aren't. And you just lost, again, the best player in baseball to another team. So even signing a different free agent, I don't know how much different that is going to be to your organization, which tells you how far back they are in actually competing.